Community service hours in Washington state. Have you been ordered to do some of those as part of a court case? Are you just thinking about doing some? Or are you just interested in how community service works as it relates to court? Well, if you have any of those interests or that applies to you, you've come to the right place. This is a video about that subject, and my name is Lance Fryrear. I'm the owner of the law offices of Lance Fryrear. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years, and oftentimes we have clients who need to do community service. So in this video, I'm going to cover three things. One, when is community service ordered? What does it mean? When should you do it or not? Number two, how is it that you can find community service hours? Where do you go to do this, and what does it look like? How do you do it? And three, and most importantly, so stay to the end for this, what are the pitfalls to avoid? What are the traps to not fall into when trying to do community service for a court case? So again, if you find this video useful, please like, please subscribe. I'm making these to try to help educate the public, and I'm going to jump right into it. So number one, when are community service hours useful? When are they ordered? How does it work? Well, for this video, we're assuming that you might be charged with a crime, usually some type of non-felony charge. Sometimes there's community service and felonies, but something where the prosecutor or the court wants you to do some volunteering to benefit the public as part of what you need to do for your case. Maybe instead of going to jail, you do community service. Maybe instead of being convicted, you do community service. And so community service basically means volunteering for a nonprofit agency for a certain amount of time and then providing adequate proof of that to the court. And so you might want to check with your attorney if you think it might be a good idea to do community service ahead of time. For our firm, we generally advise against doing community service ahead of time unless we've told the client to do that, because each court is unique. Some courts really like community service. Some courts find it a total pain, and they don't want to follow up on it. They don't want to monitor it. It's just exactly what you don't want to do, at least for court. It's good for the community, but might not help your court case. So check with your attorney. So number two, where do you find community service hours? It's not as easy as you think, and we always have to tell that to prosecutors. Sometimes they want really big numbers. We want 100 hours or 80 hours of community service, and it is hard to find community service hours. Actually, a couple members of our team are constantly updating a community service list that we can give out to our clients. But the general categories, general areas where you're more likely to find community service available would be food banks. Food banks are pretty good. It's not the type of community service that needs a lot of training, and there's a constant need, unfortunately, in this country to help with hunger. Another area you might find community service available would be animal shelters. Same type of idea, right? There's so many animals that need help. It needs a little more training, so it's hard to find. But animal shelters, if we've been successful there too. Washington Trails Association. We've had people maintain trails. If it's the right time of year, it's the middle of winter, you're probably not going to find that. But if it's the spring or the fall, you might find an opportunity to do things there. And finally, another common place is what I would call a soup kitchen. Some places serves the homeless. They need all types of help. They might need help in the kitchen. They might need help in serving. And again, unfortunately, it's a really common problem. We suggest that if you have a passion, take a look around for a nonprofit organization that meets that passion. I mean, we've seen all types of community service. We've seen ferret rescue organizations for people who really like ferrets. We've seen people volunteer at parrot sanctuaries. We've seen lots of places. And so, don't give up. And you don't necessarily have to volunteer for court when you're first calling. Just see if there's hours available and then inquire later. So number three, what are the pitfalls to avoid if you're doing community service for court? And thank you for staying to the end, because this is pretty important. You don't want to waste your hours. So the most common pitfalls are not getting the community service accurately recorded. Typically speaking, courts are going to want to see proof of community service on the letterhead of the nonprofit organization, not just on some napkin. It's going to need to be signed by whoever reports that for the organization. And it also needs to say the hours that you worked and what you did, okay? And so in most cases, the total hours and generally what you did and the range of dates is sufficient, but some courts want more than that. And that goes on to the second pitfall: follow the court's instructions. Some courts have very specific instructions about how they want things reported. Some courts actually have a sheet that you can get, and you're going to need to record the exact day, the exact hours, and exactly what you did. On the 1st of August, I worked from 12 p.m. till 3 p.m. stacking canned goods, and then it might even have to be initialed by someone. So depending on the court, they may want more specific. So check with your attorney, your private attorney, your public defender. You don't want to waste your time. Another common pitfall, and the biggest one besides reporting, is starting too late. We all put off things. It's stuff we may not want to do. It's not pleasant. We put it off, and if you put it off, you're not going to get it done. It's just too hard to find community service hours. So don't put it off. If you've been ordered to do community service, get it started right away, because you don't want to be stuck having to explain to the court why it's not done. Finally, I think the third pitfall is some courts will not accept community service hours from churches. So you need to check. Churches are a really good option for community service if the court will allow it, because of the type of work churches do. But realize that you need to ask your attorney or somebody at the court about churches as an option before you go do 40 hours of community service and find that it's not going to count. So I hope you found this helpful. If you're thinking about doing community service, if you have a case and you need legal help, you can always give my office a call. Otherwise, if you just find this video useful, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me get more information out there. Again, we're doing this as a public service. And if you need anything, give us a call. We'll be there to help. We'll be there for you. Thank you.